Ever made a totally irrational decision and wondered what was I thinking? Trust me, your brain might be playing tricks on you, and I'm about to show you exactly how. You know that feeling when you look back at a choice you made and it makes absolutely no sense. Like sticking with a terrible Netflix show just because you already watched 5 episodes, or being convinced you're an expert at something after watching 2 YouTube tutorials. These aren't random moments of poor judgment, they're actually predictable patterns in how our brains work, called cognitive biases. And today, I'm going to reveal the 7 most powerful ones that are secretly controlling your decisions every single day. Think of your brain like a supercomputer that's running on outdated software. It's incredibly powerful, but it has these little glitches, mental shortcuts that helped our ancestors survive, but aren't always helpful in today's world. The first of these is confirmation bias, and it's probably messing with your head right now. Ever notice how you tend to agree with posts that match what you already believe? That's confirmation bias in action. Your brain actively seeks out information that confirms your existing beliefs while conveniently ignoring anything that challenges them. It's like having a personal yes man in your head, constantly telling you you're right. But here's where it gets really interesting. This bias isn't just about being stubborn. Studies show that when we encounter information that contradicts our beliefs, our brains actually experience physical discomfort. That's why changing someone's mind with facts alone rarely works. We're literally wired to resist it. Next up is the sunk cost fallacy, or as I like to call it, the I've already spent too much time/money on this to quit now trap. We've all been there, finishing a boring book because we're halfway through, staying in a dead-end relationship because we've already invested years, or continuing to pour money into a failing project. The science behind this is fascinating. Research shows that the pain of losing something is psychologically twice as powerful as the pleasure of gaining something equivalent. Then there's my personal favorite, the Dunning-Kruger effect. Ever met someone who's absolutely convinced they're an expert at something when they clearly aren't? That's this bias in action. The less you know about a subject, the more likely you are to overestimate your expertise. It's why someone who just learned about stocks might feel more confident about their investment choices than a seasoned financial advisor. The anchoring bias is another sneaky one that retailers love to exploit. Ever noticed how a $5 jacket makes a $2 shirt seem reasonable, even though you'd never normally spend that much on clothes? That first number becomes an anchor in your mind, skewing your perception of value. Marketing teams know this. It's why they show you the original price crossed out next to the sale price. The availability heuristic is why you might be more scared of shark attacks than car accidents, even though you're way more likely to die in a car crash. If something is easy to remember, like dramatic news stories or vivid experiences, your brain automatically assumes it's more common or important than it really is. The framing effect shows how the exact same information can lead to completely different decisions based on how it's presented. Tell someone a medical procedure has a 90% survival rate, and they're likely to go for it. Tell them it has a 10% mortality rate, and suddenly they're hesitant even though it's literally the same statistic. Finally, there's optimism bias, our tendency to think bad things happen to other people, not us. It's why smokers think they won't get cancer, why people don't save enough for retirement, and why we all think we're above average drivers. Studies show this bias actually has some benefits. It helps reduce anxiety and depression, but it can also lead to poor planning and unnecessary risks. So what can you do about these mental blind spots? The first step is awareness. Just knowing these biases exist helps you catch them in action. But here's the real game changer. Start playing devil's advocate with yourself. When you make a decision, ask, what if I'm wrong? Look for evidence that contradicts your beliefs. Consider the opposite of your initial reaction. Remember, these biases aren't bugs in your mental software, they're features that helped our ancestors survive. But in today's complex world, they can lead us astray if we're not careful. The good news is, once you understand how these cognitive biases work, you can start making better, more rational decisions. Want to dive deeper into how your mind works? Check out my next video on how to hack your brain's reward system. It might just change how you think about everything.